So this case is the Dennis Nielsen case.
Ooh.
Just a name.
Yeah, but it's a scary name. I'm trying to create some tension.
And then we all just laugh.
Yeah, true.
Oh, we've got someone driving right now to work. Like, my husband's called Dennis.
Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, Dennis. No one ever said that about Dino.
He was a little shit.
A serial killer.
Well, have you seen Pie Face recently?
Exactly. Say no more.
Tell us about the actual Dennis.
Mr.
So-
Nielsen.
One day, residents of 23 Cranley Gardens in London were all suffering. We're having blocked drains.
Right.
Suffering from a blocked drain. Brilliant.
But yeah, 23 Cranley Gardens was a big building full of flats, and every single toilet, every single sink, everything was just wrong. And so they called in a plumber, but he couldn't find anything. He unclogged one of the toilets, but he was like, I couldn't find the source of this. So anyway, he leaves. The toilet's fine for a while, but then they all get re-blocked.
Yeah.
And so they call another plumber in, and he's like, I can't find anything either, so I'm going to have to like go under the building, look at the drains under the building. And he picks up this one grate, and there on the side of the grate, so there's all the water in the bottom, and then there's like ledges of cement above. And on one of those, he found what he described as butcher's cooked meat with bones in it. And so he called his boss and he was like, what do I do with this? And the boss was like, just leave it there. We'll come back the next day and see to that. And so he did. And they came back the next day, but this cooked meat was gone. So they were looking around the rest of the drains because they were still having the blockage problems. And so they decided to take one pipe from the side of the building that connected to one of the top buildings, and inside there they found a piece of this cooked meat. It was sent off for like...
For the audio listeners, every time Eleanor says cooked meat, she does quotation marks. So I'm beginning to think maybe it's not cooked meat.
Yeah, so it's taken off to a lab and it was identified to be human flesh. So police come straight away and they quickly source it to the top flat in 23 Cranley Gardens because it was found in the tube along the side of the building. That only comes from the top flat.
Oh, right.
So they go straight up to this guy and they're like, we have discovered that drains are blocked with human remains. And this guy opens the door and he goes, oh, hell, that sounds bad. And so...
Pretty casual.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it when it happens.
She's just in a dressing gown made of skin. Oh no.
And so police said to him, like, stop messing us about. Where's the rest of the body? And he goes, fine then, it's in the wardrobe. So police go to this wardrobe.
That easy.
Police go to this wardrobe and there's two big bin bags full of human remains in the wardrobe. And they're like, right, you're coming down to the station right now. So they get him in the car and they said, well, how many bodies are up there? Because they could tell by these bags that they weren't full bodies and obviously scraps of human flesh. He'd obviously cut them up. So they asked in the car, like, how many bodies are actually up there? And this guy said 15 or 16, I think. Just like that.
I think.
Wow.
He was so casual throughout this whole case.
Horrible.
By the way, this guy is Dennis Nielsen. Realised I forgot to say that.
Yeah, no, that's mad. 15, 16 maybe.
Yeah.
A few
Lost
kids,
count.
couple of dogs.
So,
Couple of dogs.
did he have a way of luring these people in? Was it?
What's his MO?
Yeah, so all his life he'd been really, really weird. He always used to like pretend to be dead. Like he never had any friends. He was gay and his family was so homophobic that he repressed his whole entire personality all his life. And so when he finally moved out, he started going to all these gay clubs. Like he could finally be himself in his community.
Yeah.
And he thought that he was going to go to one of these gay clubs and find a husband and settle down and like that'd be it for his life. But at that time, the people that were going to these clubs didn't really want a husband. They just wanted like a one night thing. And so he would bring these men back to the house and the next morning they'd leave and he would be so heartbroken because he thought he'd found someone to be with for the rest of his life and they'd leave. So one day he brings another one home and the next morning he woke up before this boy and Dennis is stood looking at this boy thinking, I don't want him to leave like the rest of them have. And so he goes into his bedroom, he gets a tie and he comes back in and strangles this man to death. And then after that, this is what Dennis Nielsen is most famous for, maybe.
Oh, is he
He's a necrophiliac.
necrophiliac?
I know
It
this.
was coming.
You know
But not
it.
only that,
Is it the acid?
No.
Oh, I know.
but not only that, he would sit his victims around his house, just like on the sofa, just in the bed, and just have a companion because he was lonely. And that is why he killed.
That's sad.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling sorry for him, but there is some that's sad.
Can you imagine though?
That is horrific.
Can you
and
actually
sad.
imagine like these things have been known to like happen before, haven't they? Like there could be someone out there right now.
Oh, if I had to put money either way, I'd say there is probably someone
There's
pretending that people are.
There's 8 to 12 active serial killers at any one time. I think that might be in America, maybe.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would made me think. I don't know if it was a Jeffrey Dahmer thing or if I'd like mix stories up, but there was one. It was either him or Jeffrey Dahmer who did that, and he was sleeping with the dead bodies afterwards, and then he drilled a hole into the skull and poured acid into it to try and keep him alive because he realised they were decomposing too quickly. So he put acid into the brain to try and keep like an alive sex zombie essentially, but it killed him obviously. So poured acid into the brain. Yeah, so
I thought Jeffrey Dahmer was really smart.
Yeah,
but
why is that
experimental?
Well, surely you'd know.
His dad was a scientist, so I think as he was a kid, he kept trying to do little tests on like cats and stuff. He'd put like dead cats into like acid and see how long it took for the bodies to decompose.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, this guy's weirder.
Dennett, what? And this is in London.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. And when these bodies would start smelling around his house and like, because during this, he was still trying to get a boyfriend, like a long-term boyfriend. And so he'd be having boys round at the house during the day. And so he'd try and hide these bodies. So what he would do is lift up the floorboards of his ground floor flat and put them in because he actually moved to 23 Cranley Gardens later, which is the top floor flat.
Right,
when he started killing, he was on a bottom floor flat.
Right.
And so he'd put them under the floorboards, and then he killed so many people there. I think about 8 people at that flat.
Fucking
and he
mental.
started running out of room under the floorboards, and he was like, I want to keep killing, so I've got to permanently dispose of these. And so he made 4 separate bonfires in the middle of the night and burnt them all in the garden.
Oh, that seemed like that would be a bit
crazy.
of a giveaway, no? Wouldn't it stink?
He burnt big like tractor tires at the same time, so like the smell of burning rubber.
Yeah.
I was going to say, why was the meat cooked that was in the pipes that they found?
I don't think it was. I think that's just how he tried to describe
meat,
it. You don't ever
that's
want
horrific.
to admit that you've
That is
just found
horrific.
that, do you?
No.
Well, it surely the
Horrific
whole flat would have, like the whole building would have stunk, no?
You'd think. I don't know. I want that.
That's mad. I actually really like that one.
Yeah.
That's tinged in sadness.
Oh.
You're sick, twisted.
What? I was just saying.
I like it because he was sad.
There's no.
And yet he doesn't like
there's
me.
more Stevie, I don't dislike you. I'm joking. It's a character I play. But no, the point is, right, what I'm getting at is there's more dimensions to this one. You know, it's not just like, I like raping and killing. So I was actually looking for someone.
I like raping and killing, also I'm sad.
Fine, then don't sympathise with the killer, Jack. It's up to you.
I'd prefer not to. There we go. That was the story of Dennis Nielsen.